Nashville?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We,
I thought
we
so.
live we live just outside of Nashville.
Okay. Um, I used to go up there all the time, but first time I've been up there was or 2 weekends ago when Georgia played FSU in that bowl game.
Where you
I'm
at?
I'm a Georgia boy. I'm in Blairsville. You familiar with that area? Well, I think you've played Hiawassee a lot, hadn't you? Because
Yeah.
Hiawassee's just 20 minutes up the road from me.
Oh yeah, I know where Blairsville is.
Oh yeah. Um, you don't remember probably because it was in 2018 or 2019, but you were on my show when when it was just audio, phone call, and we had the best time.
Well,
We,
good.
we did because and you might I'm actually grew up in Commerce.
Really?
Oh yeah, and so and then I went to church at Rogers Baptist right
Yeah,
down in
I
you know what
know.
I'm talking about?
I know exactly where you're
Yeah,
talking.
and so I always heard about growing up T. Graham Brown. His parents lived right up the road, and
Down there at Rogers, right there at the crossroads.
yeah, small world, ain't it?
See, that's where our farm is.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's what I always heard, and of course
We
now
got we got some land about a quarter mile from Rogers.
you're kidding me.
No, man.
Um,
Where my grandparents grew up and great grandparents and all right there at Rogers. I mean,
well, that's all. I always heard that, and
there used to be a store there in an old white building.
yeah, and now it's just a barn. Or last time I was down there, it was like a just a barn and a little house. They remodeled that little small little house directly across the street from Rogers.
That's amazing. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean I spent a lot of time down there, boy.
that's what I thought, and because I've grown up in Commerce, I graduated from the high school, and I'd always heard, oh yeah, my cousin was, or my neighbor, he's cousins with T. Graham, but I heard that a lot. So you either have a bunch of cousins or
Well, that's where they're all from. That
oh,
and down there the other side of Isla.
oh
Uh,
yeah,
my
Danielsville or
my
Comer.
daddy, my daddy grew up on 98, right there at the Jackson Madison County line.
Oh yeah, yeah, like well, right, like they had the fork. You take the fork to go to Rogers. Coming down 98, I go that little fork right there off. I don't know what road that is, but right there at the Jackson
The
Madison County line.
the Nice Commerce Road.
That's it.
My mom
Golly,
and daddy's house is on the Nice Commerce Road.
what about that? Now that's see, I know I've heard that
See, that's
before.
where all our family farm is.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's awesome.
I mean, I rode a John Deere tractor all over those places.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, I was going to ask you, do you know, I think you were related to her because I grew up at Rogers, I mean, as a kid, and Elizabeth Stevenson.
I can't remember, man. I can't remember.
Elizabeth, I don't know if you weren't kin to any Stevensons.
Well, I could have been. I don't remember.
Well,
My
that's,
my mama's folks are from the other side of Isla in a little crossroads called Shiloh.
oh, I know where Shiloh is. I know that little area because I grew up off 98 on Blacks Creek Church Road, right? It's
Yeah,
called Mize Road now,
yeah.
but
I
I,
know
I
where.
was, yeah, that's where I was. So, but anyway, my family, we are from Blairsville, but my parents raised me in Commerce. That's where his job took him. So, but now I'm in Blairsville, and I quit doing this show in 2020, in December of 2020, and then, long story short, God blessed me with an opportunity to do it, but this time with a machine behind me, and so I signed a deal, and now I've got this pretty cool show going on right now. It's doing really well, and I'm so
Good.
excited that you were able to come on.
Yeah, man. Are you having fun?
The most fun I've ever had,
That's
and
what counts, man.
about 40 minutes into my interview with Billy Dean a few weeks ago, he looked at me and said, "You are doing your calling, aren't you?" And it was hey, I'm telling you, it encouraged me because He could just tell my passion for it. You know, I have a passion for the whole reason I do this show is, and I was telling Lori this, my heart and my vision is 80s and 90s country, giving a space for the 80s and 90s country icons and legends like yourself and Lori, just giving them a space and letting people know, hey, they are still touring. These are the reason that you even listen to country radio today. You know, these are the people that paved the way, you know, for in that generation. And I think 80s, especially mid 80s and 90s are the two of the best decades of country music, period.
You know, I hear that all the time.
It's crazy, isn't it? I do. I feel that way. And it's on resurgence. It's
I did
been.
a radio interview this morning. They were talking about the same thing. Exactly.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Well, I'll try to talk
It's
about something that
not,
you don't ever get to talk about.
I'll talk about whatever you want to, man.
Um, that's funny because Lori told me, she goes, I like you. You actually talk about good stuff. I'm so tired of being on autopilot, talking about the same thing over and over, blah blah blah.
You know,
uh,
well, go ahead. I might throw it in the interview.
well,
Whatever.
go. You don't forget it.
Are we interviewing right now?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and
So,
start it.
so I got the show on Sirius XM radio,
Oh yeah.
and I've been doing it about 5.5 years now. And I play live cuts from artists' live albums. It's called Livewire. So,
Oh yeah, live wire on Sirius XM Prime Country.
yeah, I do 6 artists per show, and I play a couple of songs each, and going from concert to concert. Like I was just talking to Pam Tillis yesterday,
Oh sweet.
and we were talking about the 80s and 90s country, and you know, it's you and I were talking about Lori Morgan saying she hears the same questions and all that. When I
Yeah.
interview somebody, I try to ask them stuff that I don't get asked all the time. You know?
Oh yeah, that's smart.
A lot of us, you know, when you ask us what time it is, we'll start on. Well, I started out when I, you know, you're so
Yeah, you're so used to it.
somebody. All you got to do with me basically is ask me a question, and I go off on my whole deal. You know,
That's great. That's
it's usually we're so used to knowing
mm-hmm,
what somebody's going to ask us that we
mm-hmm.
just go ahead and beat them to the punch.
Yeah, yeah. That's exactly what. That's cool. I've had every artist on this new season. They've told me that, and this isn't blowing smoke up me at any. It's all God. So I give my credit to, but they've just said this has been different. Well, this is something I've really enjoyed. Mark Miller, you know him. Sorry, Brown. He told me this is something pretty cool. I'm so glad I got to talk to you, and because we talked about all kinds of stuff. So that's what we're going to do at T. Graham Brown.
Yeah, well, it is cool, and Mark Miller is a really good friend of mine. You know, on the Sirius XM show, I do one show a month, and
Mm-hmm.
they air it 10 times during the month.
Oh wow, okay.
And then if you're a Sirius XM subscriber,
Mm-hmm.
you can download this free mobile app they have, and it opens up 200 more channels. And
Oh,
also, it has an on demand feature. So it has a search bar, and you can just type in T. Graham Brown, and Livewire pops up, and you can listen.
ah,
You can listen to back episodes of Livewire. So basically, you can listen on the app. You can
yeah,
listen to whatever you want to at
ah,
any time you want to. Not just me, but anything.
you're right.
And so I've been doing this 5.5 years, I guess, something like that. But I've interviewed over 50 artists, man.
Wow.
I usually interview them for 20, 25 minutes. So I've gotten pretty good at interviewing, but you know, you were naming some names. Imagine I have not repeated one artist in over 50. I've interviewed over 50 artists from the Prime Country era, which is
Yeah.
the Prime Country channel plays music from 1980 to 2000. So it's the
Mm-hmm.
80s and 90s.
It's incredible.
So it's amazing to me that there's that many dang artists out there, because I've interviewed, and I still
It.
interviewed Gary Morris or Marty Raven with Shenandoah or Steve Earle or Emmy Lou. There's a whole bunch of them I got on my list that
I didn't. Man, that's crazy. That's
so,
good.
so
Yeah.
so you, what I'm getting at is you have a lot of artists to go, buddy, before
Oh,
you.
I do. I get to do this for a little while longer. That's awesome. um, that's cool, man. I love it. The Sirius XM Live Wire show, though, it is that's killer. And what now? When does it air? When does it air? The main air times? Is it on?
It air, man.
So it's all the time.
Like I said, it's 10 times a month.
Okay.
They air it. They might air one at 3 in the morning on
Right.
Sunday, and Monday afternoon or
Yeah.
Saturday. You know, they got it all staggered.
Right.
So basically, so the average Sirius XM subscriber has a chance to hear it
To
at some
hear it. Yeah.
point.
You're right.
But like I was saying, if the people would download that app, then
Yeah.
they can listen to Live Wire whenever they feel like it.
Okay.
But
The
it is,
Sirius XM app. Okay.
but they air it 10 times a month, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just different days and different times.
Have you had a blast doing it?
Yeah, man, it's real
That's
easy.
cool.
It's real easy, and I know everybody,
Yeah.
and everybody has always said yes, and I got everybody's phone numbers, and I just call them and ask them to do it, and we all help each other out, man.
Oh, that's awesome.
I mean, we all got our own things going on, and
Right.
like Larry Stewart was on last month, and I interviewed Pam for the February show. Yeah, I've had some great conversations with folks.
Man, Larry Stewart's cool, isn't he?
Oh man, I've been knowing him 40 years. See, that's
He's,
another thing. I've been knowing these people almost 40 years now.
yeah. Yeah. Do you have to go to downtown to do it?
Well, most of the time I go down to the Bridgestone Arena where their studios, but they're moving their studios now into the Batman building down there. So I've been doing it from the house the last couple of shows, and then
okay.
When COVID was going on, I did them all. I did them all from the house. So I have the capability of doing it.
That's cool.
From home too.
Yeah. And you said Pam, she'll be the February guest?
Yeah.
She's
awesome.
Awesome.
It was fun talking to her because she's a different kind of artist, because she's a show business kid.
Right. That's all she's known, isn't it?
Yeah. And you know, most of the artists are not show business kids.
Right.
So we got to talk about Mel Tillis a little bit and everything. So Pam's experience, her life experience, is totally different than Larry Stewart. For instance, Larry Stewart, I asked Larry Stewart when the first time he ever got paid for singing and in a band, and it was Restless Heart opening up for Alabama at the Murphy Center with 10,000 people in there. I mean, he had never been in a band. So, you know,
that's crazy.
Most of these artists grew up, you know, they might have started singing in some little high school rock and roll outfit or something like that, you know. Yep. But not Larry. Larry was a baseball player all through his life.
Yep. I knew that. Matt T-Graham, I am or Brown, I'm a nerd when it comes to 80s and 90s country. I have always been that way. I had every tape and CD and everything.
I know pretty much all about it.
I love it. That's what I'm saying. So when just hearing you talk about it, it gets me excited because I love it. And I was going to ask you, where'd you put your dues in? Was it Athens?
I started out in Athens at a Holiday Inn.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I went to high school in Athens.
Oh, okay.
And then after high school, I went to Georgia. And that's where I met Sheila. And
Oh, okay.
but I had this buddy in high school named Dirk Howell. He could play the guitar. And when we were in high school, somebody's mom and daddy would go out of town, and we would all go over to their house and have a party, you know, and then clean it up,
Yeah.
so they wouldn't know we'd had a party there. But sometimes Dirk would bring a guitar, and he and I would just sit around goofing around singing. And then we started going to Georgia, and I was trying to play baseball at Georgia, but I wasn't getting to play. So I was really frustrated about it. And I had a friend from high school that worked at the Holiday Inn in Athens,
Mm.
which is right there. I think they've torn it down now, but this would have been the fall of 1973. So that's when I started singing for a living. And so I've been doing this 51 years for a living.
Good
And
night.
so anyway, this boy worked at the front desk at the Holiday Inn,
Mm-hmm.
and he called me up and said, "Man, they got a bar upstairs. It's just sitting there empty, and they never have anybody playing in there. But you and Dirk ought to go over and sing this guy a couple of songs and see what he says." And so we went over there one afternoon and played a couple of songs, and the guy hired us. And we didn't have
On the spot?
on the spot, and for 5 nights a week, from 9 till midnight every night. And we didn't have any songs worked up. We didn't know we didn't sung in front. You know, we didn't know what we were doing, but we just started doing that. We learned some songs and started doing that. We got a huge student following. All the kids started
Oh,
coming.
I bet.
You know, the kids that were our age
Yeah.
started coming over there and drinking beer and listening to us sing. And we would sing at night and get up in the morning, go to class, and then sing from 9 till midnight or 9 to 1. I can't remember. It seems like it's 4 sets a night.
Man.
I did that for 3 years. And we wound up, we were making a lot of money.
Yeah.
I bought my first house when I was 19 years old. I had a Corvette and an Eldorado Cadillac, and I always thought I was a big shot, man. So I was big dogging it around campus and having the time of my life.
Did y'all have a name, or was it?
It was just Dirk and Tony. My name's Tony Brown.
Yeah.
Everybody called me Tony, so it was Dirk and Tony.
What about that?
And we did that for 3 years. And I came home one day, and my outfit was I wore khaki pants, 100% cotton button-down starched shirt, and Bass Weegens. I was a fraternity looking. We played for all the fraternity and sorority kids, so that was my outfit.
Wow.
So I came home one day and turned the TV on, and there's a local PBS station. I think it's called WUOG, University of Georgia.
Yeah.
I think it's called UOG, and it's Channel 8. And they were running a documentary on David Allan Coe, and I never had heard of David Allan Coe and never had seen David Allan Coe. And he was the wildest thing I'd ever seen in my life. So I looked at I watched it, and I thought, man, I'm going to be that guy. So I broke up with Dirk and put a country rock and roll band together and grew my hair out long and grew a beard and got a tattoo and got my ear pierced. And I was David Allan Coe for 3. That's where the T. Graham Brown started, because I didn't want anybody to call me Tony, because I didn't want them confusing me and Dirk.
Oh,
and
man.
Tony. So I rocked, man. We were the only guys in town when it came to country rock. And we did that for 3 years, and we played Atlanta. We played all over the place. We were good. We went down to Capricorn Studios in Macon and cut some stuff. And I mean, we were good. And then Urban Cowboy, the movie came out.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody and his brother put a country band together. And all of a sudden, I wasn't unique anymore. So I quit doing that, and I put together a band, and I called it T. Graham Brown's Rack of Spam. And all it was a soul band. We didn't play anything but soul music, straight soul music. and I did Dirk and Tony from '73 to '76, and T. Graham Brown and Rio Diamond was the name of my band. T. Graham Brown, Rio Diamond, and
Rio Diamond. Okay.
yeah, and then I did that for 3 years, and then I did the Rack of Spam from '79 to '82, and that's when Sheila finished up her master's degrees, and that's when we moved to Nashville in the spring of '82. But
Wow.
the Rio Diamond thing is, we came to Nashville to do some demos. I had a buddy from high school that had moved to Nashville, and we went over. Dang, this is odd, man, because it was Mel Tillis's publishing company.
Mm.
It was called Cedarwood, I believe was the name of it. It was Mel's publishing company, and a friend of mine worked in that little demo studio in the back of that building. It was on 16th Avenue.
Mm.
And so we went over there one night. I remember, man, it was snowing. I can't remember what year it was. It must have been '76. And it was snowing, and it was Super Bowl weekend because we recorded our demos on that Sunday, the Super Bowl Sunday.
Ah.
And right across the street was Capitol Records, and I went over there and had my picture taken in front of that Capitol Records sign. And danged if I didn't sign to Capitol Records a few years later. So it was really weird.
What?
But yeah, I still got that picture of me standing in the snow out in front of Capitol Records, and it's from 1976, and I wound up signing with Capitol probably in '84, something like that. But I did Dirk and Tony was a beach music. That's what we played.
Okay.
We played beach music for the fraternity and sorority kids, and then I played country rock when I was David Allen Coe for 3 years, and we played all David Allen Coe and Waylon and Willie and Johnny Cash, all that
Outlaws.
That's all we played. That was all we did. Johnny Paycheck, just total outlaw stuff.
Oh man.
And then I wrote some songs. I wrote some outlaw songs, but that T. Graham Brown Rio Diamond.
Yeah.
I was at that Mel Tillis's publishing company. And it was closed. It was a Sunday, and I was rummaging through everybody's office just to see what was in there.
Yeah.
And then I don't know whose office it was, but there was a stack of albums on the floor. And I was thumbing through them, and I saw this album. It was called Big Bertha. It was Bud Brewer and the Brewmasters, and they were on RCA Records. And it was called Big Bertha, the Truck Driving Queen. And on the cover, there was this big fat woman with a trucker's cap on, with a cigar in her mouth, leaning up against a Diamond Rio tractor. It was a truck. It was a Diamond Rio truck. So I just flipped it, and it was REO Diamond. And I flipped it and called it my band Rio Diamond from there. I stole that album and came home, and I learned Bud Brewer's great. For anybody listening, go look up Bud Brewer on YouTube. He's real country. And so I stole that record. I stole a couple of other albums. I can't remember what, but that's how I named my country rock band. Rio Diamond was from an album cover that I stole out of Mel Tillis's publishing company when we had gone to Nashville one Sunday to do some.
Have you told Pam that?
No, I totally forgot. I need to tell her that.
Y'all just talked, what'd you say, this past weekend or yesterday?
Yeah,
Yesterday. That's a great story.
And I was talking, I interviewed Marty Rowe the other day, and I've been knowing him for 30 years. And we were talking about their band, Diamond Rio.
Right.
And they named their band after Diamond Rio trucks, except they spelled their RIO on purpose so they wouldn't get sued. So basically, Diamond Rio got our name from the same truck.
That is something else.
But I beat them to the punch by about 7 or 8 years.
Yeah, you did. Man, I love that story. I love Marty Rowe too. I used to try to sound like him when I was about 10 years old. I did. That's who
Well,
I.
he was a good one to try to sound like.
You ain't kidding. I saw them just a couple months ago up here in Hiawassee. They were great.
Yeah, well,
Um,
they are great.
let's see. Moving right along, I got a couple more things. So when you got to Capitol Records eventually, when you signed,
Yeah.
because me and my buddy, we were listening to you a couple nights ago. We were riding around up here in the mountains, and the just of course I've always known your songs, like but just thinking about some of the bigger hits like Darlene. To me, you had, I don't know, is that you stood out, like your style, your that there's I even told Matt, I said, "Do you hear that soul in his voice?" And but even the instrumentation, it just, you stood out to me. And did was
Well,
that
hey, Britt, I'm a soul man.
you are?
What I started out doing, I am a soul man that moved to Nashville,
Yes.
and therefore I put out a record. My record company was in Nashville, and they released it to country radio. So all of a sudden, I was a country singer. I
Oh,
basically a soul singer more than I was a country singer.
country.
Of course,
Man,
I did my country rock band. I'm a good country singer,
no
but
doubt.
I'm a soul singer too. I'm a rock singer.
You
I
are.
I I do, man. I grew up listening to everything. I grew up listening to I listened to a station that didn't have a format. It was a little AM station, and they played everything. It wasn't a country.
Mm-hmm.
It was a everything station. They might play Johnny Cash, and then they might play the Rolling Stones right after that, and Otis Redding right after that, and Aretha Franklin right after that, and Jerry Lee Lewis right after that. I mean, it was all over the place. So I listened to everything, and I cut I cut most of my hits in Muscle Shoals with the Muscle Shoals rhythm section.
Oh,
Down,
wow. That's awesome. I
down
did
at
not know
Muscle.
that.
Yeah, I cut my first two albums in Muscle Shoals.
Did you have crossover? Did Darlene or
No, I never.
Tell It Like It Used to Be, did it cross over to rock or pop?
No, no, no.
Adult
They
contemporary?
they they tried to do that. They put out Dock of the Bay in Germany.
Oh, okay.
I cut Dock of the Bay on my
Mm-hmm.
second album, and they put that out. They were going to try to do something like that in Europe, but it never did catch on.
Yeah. I just it's funny just looking back on certain songs. That's why I was asking about those two songs especially.
Hey
I
man,
just
you know what I do? Now this is about the most fun thing I've ever done. I went down to Muscle Shoals,
mm-hmm.
and I recut 14 old soul songs that were either originally cut in Memphis or Muscle Shoals. And I'm
Oh,
calling the
wow.
album From Memphis to Muscle Shoals. So I got the Muscle Shoals rhythm section, what they call the new Muscle Shoals rhythm section. But they've been together 30 years now. So
Right.
they
They're
play.
incredible.
So anyway, I tracked down at Fame Studio down
Mm-hmm.
there, and so I cut all these 60 soul songs, and I cut them exactly like they cut them in 67. You can listen to this record and it sounds like it was cut in 67. So I cut all these soul songs. So then after I tracked them and came back to Nashville, when I was listening to them, I just got them home.
How long ago was this?
It ain't out yet.
Oh, so this is new.
Yeah, it ain't out yet.
Oh man, this is exciting. Okay,
No,
go ahead.
so they're going to start putting out, releasing tracks from it next month.
Yes.
So
Okay.
anyway, I was talking to Dwight Yoakam on the phone. See, all of us came out the same time, man.
Mm-hmm.
Keith Whitley and Randy Travis and Marty Stewart and Steve Earle and me and Patty Loveless. we all came out basically the same year. Our first our first singles at radio were basically the same year, right?
86
Real, we
ish.
were. It was real close, you know. I think I might have been a year ahead of Keith. I can't remember. And but anyway, we were all right there together,
Yeah, that's awesome.
and we all knew each other, and we all loved each other, and we still love each other, and
Mm,
we still talk to each other.
mm-hmm.
And so I was talking to Dwight Yoakam on the phone, and he asked me. I was telling him about this project, and
Yeah.
he asked if I had cut this song "I'm Your Puppet," that was a big hit with James and Bobby Purify. These guys back in the '60s. It was called "I'm Your Puppet." Dan Penn and Spooner Oldham wrote it. Anyway, I said, yeah, as a matter of fact, I did. And Dwight said, can I sing on it? And I said, sure, you can sing on it. I'd love to sing on it. So Dwight went in the studio in Hollywood and sang a duet with me and then sang harmonies. And I thought, well, dang. So then I called up Tanya, and Tanya said yes, and she's singing on one. Then I called up Winona, and Winona's singing.
Oh,
And
what?
I called up Sammy Hagar, and he's singing on Walking the Dog with me. And then I called up Sam Moore from Sam and Dave, who's 87 years old, and he's singing Who's Making Love to Your Old Lady While You's Out Making Love. Then I called up Eddie Floyd, who wrote and sang the original Knock on Wood, and he's singing Knock on Wood with me. And then I called up Little Anthony from Little Anthony, and he's 80 some years old, and he's singing on one with me. Then I called up Delbert McClinton, and he's singing Mustang Sally with me.
Oh man!
So this record is the most fun I've ever had, and man, you ought to hear it. It's killer.
I can't wait. This is awesome.
It's got the Muscle Shoals horns on it. It's a throwback soul tribute record.
Oh,
It's great. It's the most fun I ever had, man. I mean, it probably won't sell 10 copies.
Oh, it will.
You know, today is a whole different ball game.
It is.
Than when I came along.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's all about streaming and all that, you know. So hopefully we'll get some good streaming numbers.
Oh, you will.
I have no idea how it works these days, really. I haven't put out a new studio album. The last really studio album I did was in 2014, and it was a gospel album.
The gospel album, yep, I've heard it.
It's called Forever Changed, and I had some good people singing on that one too.
Mm-hmm.
But I hadn't done like a studio record out in 10 years.
Wow, this is big. This is a big deal, man. I love that.
Well,
Can you tell us the title of it?
It's called From Memphis to Muscle Shoals.
Oh yeah, you did tell. That is an incredible title, by the way. That draws me in right there.
Well, that's what it's. We cut some songs that were originally cut in Memphis that were hits. For instance, we cut. I recut Dock of the Bay. See, some of the Memphis songs was "Take Me to the River." Al Green. That's the one. That's the one Winona's singing on. Walking the Dog, Rufus Thomas. That's the one Sammy Hagar's on. Mustang Sally was cut in Memphis. Knock on Wood was cut in Memphis. So there's a lot of Memphis songs on there. And the rest of them are Muscle Shoals songs. So that's why I'm calling it From Memphis to Muscle Shoals.
That's perfect. That is you ought to even call it. You ought to do a tour called that.
Hey, I might, man.
I mean that I feel like this is I got goosebumps when you started listening off all that.
Britt, I'm telling you, man, I ain't bragging. This is a great record.
Oh, I believe it.
It's my favorite record I've ever done. It turned out just like I wanted it to. It sounds just like I wanted it to sound.
Golly.
It's just a perfect project for me.
You're gonna have a blast singing some of these songs on the road, aren't you?
I've been singing them all my life.
Well, yeah. Now Let me ask you this, so because I know how, why Winona has this incredible soulful, it ain't just what people think countrywide. She has a soulful voice. So what did I bet she blew blew it out of the park.
I tell you what I'll do, man. I'll do it just for you. When we get through this, I'll text you a Dropbox link to it, and you can listen to the
Oh
whole.
my gosh! Don't even tell me that. I'm gonna go build a fire. I have 2 buddies coming over tonight. We're gonna listen to this record.
I'll send it to you when we get through talking.
Oh God, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Billy
You'll,
Dean did the same thing for me. He goes, I'm gonna text you something here in a little bit after the and he did.
yeah, well, you'll like this. It'll be good. Just crank it up loud.
Oh, it is. I'm gonna crank it up loud. I have. Oh man, I love
Hey,
soul.
you know, there's a woman on there named Betty LaVette, and she's probably 76 or 7, and she's from Detroit. She grew up with Aretha Franklin,
Oh,
and I called her up, and she's doing this. Aretha Franklin had a hit on this song called "Do Right Woman, Do Right Man" that Dan Penn wrote it too. But anyway, she just did a. You know who Randall Bramlett is from Athens?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so
My buddy plays with him.
Randall's the reason I moved to Nashville. Randall's the guy that told me to get out of Athens and move to Nashville.
Really?
I kept asking Randall, I said, how do you get to be a star? How do you get to be a star? That was what I'd ask him. And then he finally told me, he said, I'll tell you how to get to be a star, Brown. Get your ass out of Athens, Georgia, and move to New York, LA, or Nashville, and don't ever ask me that question again. So he's really the guy that gave me the courage to move to Nashville.
Wow.
But anyway, Betty LaVette just cut an album of nothing but Randall Bramlett songs and just got nominated for a Grammy for Album of the Year on it.
You're kidding me.
So she's on my new record.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, man. It's all good. It's all and it's good and good for Randall.
Yeah, it's real good for Randall, no doubt. Do you know Tom Ryan? Bass player.
I don't know, but see, I've been gone from there so long, man.
Well, I didn't know he's played with Randall and Sean Mullins for a while,
I don't know who all's in Randall's band or
yeah.
I hadn't seen Randall in a long time.
Oh, I bet. He's still at it though. He's still playing.
I know. I watch his videos all.
Oh yeah.
I'm a huge Randall Bramlett fan. I'm a huge Randall Bramlett.
That's awesome, man.
I've been knowing Randall a long time too.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I guess so. What about your sister Tanya? What was she like on the record? Did she?
She did a great job, man.
What song did y'all?
They're gonna release that song first. And next
wow.
I think they're gonna just start putting one a month out. And
yeah.
And the Tanya duet, I think, is the first one they're gonna put out.
Gosh.
I'll send it to you. And on this Dropbox thing, you know, you'll have to look at the very top of the thing. It'll have the name of who the other artist is.
Oh, okay.
Because if you don't have that information, you won't know who you're hearing.
Well, I'll know Tanya and Y for sure, and Delbert.
Yeah, you'll know, but you might not. You wouldn't know who Betty LaVette is unless I told you who it is.
I'm excited about listening to her now, though.
Betty LaVette's great, man.
That's awesome.
She's one of the best female soul singers ever.
Oh, that's awesome.
But she's like a cult figure. She never was she had a single out in 1962, but I don't think it was ever a hit. I don't think she's ever had a really big hit. And
now she's nominated for a Grammy.
Yeah, the album's called LaVette.
I mean,
it's all Randall songs.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's a cool record.
Oh man, I am so excited about that. Your website, your online store, I went to it right before we got on the show, and it is not only is it well done, but you have your online store's got some goodies on it.
Well, we got all kinds of stuff on there, man.
You do, man. And
I want people to fly my colors and listen to my music.
Green and red.
All about it.
Red. I love that. The bus is what is the best.
Oh, you talking about the bullet?
Yeah.
Bullet. Yeah.
Yes, the bullet.
Bullet maintenance. Is the full name. See, I had a bus. My first bus that I bought from Mark Miller, Sawyer Brown,
Oh, okay.
and he. It was originally an Ozzy Osbourne bus, and
You're kidding.
no, and it burned up. It was a real weird story. Uh, this this Ozzy, you ever heard of Randy Rhoads that played guitar for Ozzy? But anyway, they were down in Florida, and this bus was parked at this mansion out in the country, and they were out joyriding in a plane and showing off, and it ran into the house, and it caught the house on fire, and it caught the Ozzy Osbourne bus on fire. But they redid the bus, and Mark Miller wound up with it, and then I wound up with it.
What about that?
But I named it Bullet Maintenance after the Andy Griffith Show. Barney went to the bank one time in one episode, and Asa the guard had these bullets with mold on them, and Barney was getting on to him about his mold covered bullets, and Barney pulled his bullet out, and he said, "Now, Asa, there's Bullet Maintenance." So we named it Bullet Maintenance because we were trying to maintain our bullet in the charts all the time. So it was a double meaning.
That's awesome.
It was a two meaning deal.
So, so you own your own bus?
Yeah, since about 1987, something like that.
Wow. Yeah, a lot of you guys own your own now. That's good. You don't have to lease it.
Well, buses are expensive whether you lease them or not. But
yeah,
the best thing about my bus is it's paid for, so I don't have to. But you all the time, even new ones, you all the time working on them. They're just one.
Oh yeah.
One big machine. There's something always going wrong with it.
Yeah. Your bus is cool, man. I know. I see it from the all the pictures and everything. I like the colors.
They plastered my face on it enough. I know that.
Yeah.
I didn't have anything to do with that rap, really.
I like it though. I love it.
I'm glad. It's got my face on there a little too much for me, but that's okay.
Your personality shines on the bus though, because I know you are known for your awesome jackets that you wear. I mean the colors, the you are an entertainer, and I love it. So, does anyone ever come up to you and say anything about your jackets? Because you're
all
not.
all the time, but that's Sheila that does all that.
No way.
Sheila dresses me like a third grader, man. She lays my clothes out on the bed just like.
Oh, I thought you meant she designs and makes your outfits.
She does that.
Oh, wow.
She doesn't actually make them, but she designs things. Yes,
yeah.
She's always been in charge of my wardrobe.
Well, it's cool. I think it's cool. Cool.
I got a couple of Kenny Rogers things that when I was on tour with Kenny Rogers, I did about 300 shows with Kenny Rogers, and
oh wow,
he would turn me loose. He had a tractor trailer that was nothing but clothes in it. It was like one big truck of clothes, and he would turn me loose in there and let me get stuff every now and then. So I still got some Kenny Rogers stage stuff that he had custom made. Man, it's real expensive stuff and real cool, and it's just good to have mementos like that. George Jones gave me the coolest jacket, one of the coolest ones I got. Yeah, but Sheila
got rhinestones on it.
No, it's like a Picasso painting.
Oh,
Vegas.
Sheila standing here. He bought it he saw it in Las Vegas, and he told Nancy, he said, "Man, that's T. Graham right there. I'm getting that for him." George was like a daddy to me.
Oh man.
George was one of my best friends.
That sends chills over me right now. The possum. Yes. That's cool. I didn't know that about y'all. Of course I don't know a lot. I'm learning. But that's awesome, man, that y'all.
George treated me like a son. He called me son. George and I, we were drunk together and sober together, man. I mean, I work with George a lot.
That's cool. Did you learn a lot from him? He teach you a lot about the business?
Just hearing him sing, No, he didn't teach me anything about business, but I did several duets with him on my albums and his albums, and yeah, we were very
That's
good.
awesome.
We were very good friends. George Jones was the one and only.
CMA with,
yeah, we won a CMA award. You know, he let me sing on that "I Don't Need Your Rocking Chair."
Oh, that's right. You are on that.
So,
Oh yeah, that's awesome. The possum, man.
hey, I got a great picture. I'll need to text you a picture of the day we recorded that. We were in Woodland Studios. It was during Fanfare that year, and there's a picture.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah, there's a picture of me and Tritt and Mark Chestnut and Mark and Joe Diffie and all standing around the mic, and George is standing there with us the day we recorded it. Hey, I'll need to send you a couple of pictures of me and Keith too.
Oh man, you should. Golly.
When you get them, you got to text me back though and tell me if you like them or not.
Oh, I will. You care if I send them to Jesse, or is he already got them?
No, I already sent them to him.
Oh, okay, cool.
I sent them to him a few years ago.
Oh man, that's pretty special. He
you know, man, Keith and I were like brothers. You know, Keith and I were out on the road together.
Oh, I didn't know that.
All the time. So Keith and I were out on the road, and we came home. This would have been probably 80. Well, he died in 89, so it would have been in 89. I was going to say it was about the time Darlene was a hit. We came home. We'd been on the road. We came home. We were going to take a couple of days off and head back out to the road. And so he had a manager named Jack McFadden at the time, who was a good friend of mine. We were all friends. We talked to each other all the time on the phone and all the time. So the phone rang. I was at home and the phone rang, and I can't remember what time it was. It was early. She was telling me it was early in the morning. Anyway, it was Jack McFadden, and I said, hey, Jack, how you doing? He said, Keith's dead. And I said, man, that ain't even funny. Don't say that. And he started crying. He said, no, man, Keith died. And then I started crying. And then later we found out what killed him. And it was a horrible day. And Jack said, I can't face all these cameras. Can I send them to your house? So I said, yeah, I guess. So all these news people showed up at my house, and I had to be the face of the Keith Whitley tragedy.
Ah, wow.
Yeah, I know. It was crazy. It was terrible.
Oh, have you and Lori?
I remember it like it was yesterday, man.
Have you and Lori ever talked about that?
Yeah. We've talked about it.
Man.
Yeah, I was on the news, and they had all these news trucks and all. Yeah, it was a bad thing, man. It was a bad day.
I was 10, and I remember the day I heard about it.
It was a real bad day. See, Keith and I were real bad to drink. We drank together. We were bad. We were bad. We about got kicked off our labels because of it. I mean,
yeah, they had talks with you.
They sent us to meetings. Yeah, we'd have to go to these psychologist group therapy sessions and sit in there, and all we were doing was looking at our watch, waiting for it to get over so we could go get a drink. We weren't interested in getting sobered up one bit. All we wanted to do was party, and it wound up killing Keith. And you would have thought it would have knocked some sense into me, but it didn't. Man, I just doubled down. It was a crazy deal. It was really a sad. Keith Whitley would have been one of the biggest stars ever, like Alan Jackson or George Strait or any of them. Keith Whitley would have been as big a star as there ever was.
In '89, how big was he at that point? I mean,
he was
on the rise, wasn't he?
I think he just had like his 5th number one. He was zooming. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, he was a superstar.
He was zooming.
Man.
Yeah, man. I'll send you a couple of pictures.
So excited about that.
I told him all
and
about
a book coming out. So
book.
Yeah.
What?
An autobiography. It's called "I Tell It Like It Used to Be."
Is that going to be in 24?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
What?
Yeah.
Why didn't we talk about that?
Well, I don't know.
We'll
That's exciting.
We'll send you a copy of it before, and you can read it. So.
Have you announced that yet? Does anyone know?
No,
No.
it'll probably be by June.
We're finishing it
By
up
June.
right now.
Yeah.
Guess what I got to tell Lori that she had no clue. I dropped the news on my show.
What?
I said when we were closing out, I was like, well, in June, the Opry's going to have a Lori Morgan celebration night for your 40th anniversary. And she was like, huh? And I said, please tell me that I wasn't supposed to tell you that. But she goes, oh, it's okay. But I said, you mean I got to drop this on you? And she goes, yep, first time I've heard it.
Wow.
Yeah, but her book's coming out this year.
Oh, good.
Yep, and they've already scheduled. I don't know when it's coming out. They're still working on it, but when it comes out, they're letting me be the first interview. I think we're going to do an in-person interview, an exclusive. So I'm excited about that.
Excellent.
We just might have to get you as an exclusive book release too.
We can do that.
We can do that.
But anyway, y'all are awesome. I love talking to y'all. I can't wait to see y'all soon. Y'all got any Georgia dates, Sheila, or do y'all know?
We don't know yet, but
Okay.
Well, we just played Georgia last week.
We were in Gainesville.
At the Boot Barn?
Yeah, Saturday night.
I was there a few weeks ago. Shoot fire.
What a neat place.
It was.
It is. It's very nice. And there's
Posted on dates.
oh yeah. Yeah, the Boot Barn's cool.
A bunch of my old high school buddies from Athens showed up that I hadn't seen in 50 years, man.
Did they?
Yeah, it was
Oh,
great.
that's cool. I saw Susie Bogus there not too long ago.
Yeah, we had a good time.
Yeah, the sound's good. Did you think the sound was good in there?
Yeah, well, I didn't hear the out front sound, but everybody told me it was good.
Yeah, it's really good.
The stage sounded great.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you so much, man, for coming on the show. I'm excited about this year for you. Sirius XM Livewire. It's on Prime Country. tgrahamBrown.com. He has an awesome online store. You can check out tour dates there. And so much more is coming your way this year. I hope God just continues to bless y'all for real, T. Graham. And
Thanks, Brett.
but it's been fun. It's always nice talking to a Georgia boy.
You got it, man. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs. And I'll hey, don't forget to send me that.
I won't.
Yeah, I'm so excited. We're about to build a fire and listen to it all night long, I promise.
You'll have it in 5 minutes.
Oh, I'll text you later and tell you. I can't. The first two I'm going to listen to is Tanya and Why.
Well, you're gonna have to listen to them one at a time. You'll see.
Okay, I'll go through it. Yeah, like that. Yeah.
Get the Dropbox. You'll
I'll
see.
let the album take me on the journey it's supposed to.
Yeah, whatever you want to do, man.
I'm so excited.
You can listen to them whatever order you want to hear.
Oh, well, bye, Sheila.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
All right, I'll see y'all soon.
We
Thanks,
look forward
man.
to meeting
God bless you, man.
you.
All right, y'all too. Bye.
Bye.
We were roping the wind every Friday night, singing those songs, living our lives with all our friends down in the lowest places. We would ride around with the tailgate down, rodeo playing in the background. All those memories we were making. We never went down until the sun came up. Papa loved Mama blasting in my truck. I was calling Baton Rouge It's where I've been. It's made me who I am. Somebody play me those songs again. Well, the whole town cried the day Nolan died. We sang to dance at his last goodbye. And up the river, his vessel will sail on. Just to relive all our glory days, singing those songs, all the noise we made that summer. I wanna ride around those tracks again. Yeah, we never went down until the sun came up. Papa loved Mama blasting in my truck. I was calling Baton Rouge. Shameless, it never got old. I still hear that thunder roll. It's where I've been. It's made me who I am. Somebody play me those songs again. We were walking the beaches of Cheyenne, standing outside the fire. I'm still thankful for my unanswered prayers, looking in another's eyes. Yeah, we ain't going down until the sun comes up. Papa loved Mama blasting in my truck. And I'm still calling Baton Rouge. Shameless, it'll never get old. I still hear that thunder roll. It's where I've been. It's made me who I am. Somebody play me those songs again. If tomorrow never comes, I wonder what she's doing now.